They're coming to me now-ish. I guess they are. Hi, folks. Chris Waters here. It's GameSpot's Stage 1. And I've got Dennis Lee here, Director of Marketing for Namco Bandai, to talk about the Tales series. Now, I know a lot of you have a lot of love for Tales. It's Tales of Xillia now that we're talking about now. Dennis, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, thank you.
Glad to have you here. Glad to see the Tales series, I mean, obviously going very strong for over a decade. Tales of Xillia, though, this is coming to the United States, but it's been out in Japan for a little bit.
Yes, so Tales of Xillia...
A little closer.
Sorry. Tales of Xillia came out in Japan 2 years ago, and it was a title that was created for the Tales of 15th anniversary. So because we got the first Tales of game a little bit later than Japan, this is actually, this year, 2013, is the 15th anniversary of the Tales of, so we're also releasing Tales of Xillia this year as well.
Great, and I was reading up on it, and like, sold like gangbusters, like great critical acclaim. People love the game in Japan.
Yes, in Japan it was the fastest selling Tales of game of all time. Sold 500,000 units in the first weekend, and the critical acclaim, it was just people, you know, the fans, they just really loved it. It really encompassed like everything that the fans loved with the Tales of series.
Very cool. Now, one of the key elements of the Tales of series is this combat that we're seeing right now. Sort of gives folks some context for what they're seeing on screen.
Yeah, so the Tales of series was kind of one of the first Japanese role-playing game series that had real-time battles. And so that is something that the development team, they've really been kind of tuning that battle system, making it work, you know, making it a little better, faster, more interesting, more strategic. And so for Tales of Xillia, one thing that's brand new is the, it's got kind of a long name, so it's the dual raid linear motion battle system. And so, but what that boils down to...
You guys didn't come up... I guess it doesn't make a very good acronym either, but
yeah,
dual
like
raid...
DR limbs is kind of what we call it internally.
Dual raid linear motion system? Battle system, all right. Yes. What all those words mean?
And so basically what it does is, so you have 4 active characters that are with you in battle.
Okay.
And so if you see that little line of light that's kind of linking 2 of the characters together, so you can link one of your characters along with one of the other players in battle. And then when that happens, you're basically going to fight as a unit. So, so both characters, you'll control one, and then if the computer AI is controlling the other character, depending on who you're linked to, they're going to support you in battle. So if it's an attacking character, they might flank behind the enemy that you're fighting, and then you can do like extra long combos. And then if it's a support character, they might either cast, you know, helpful magic. They might heal you. If you get knocked down, they might kind of like pick you up and heal you at the same time. And so that's kind of one element of what's new for Tales of Xillia.
Yeah, picking complementary pairs in battle.
That work together. And then one of the other new things is there's a linked arts. So arts is the magic system in the Tales of series. And so the linked arts is brand new. So right now this is what's happening. So basically you with the partner that you're paired with, you can do like an extra flashy, powerful attack with your partner, and then of course you can chain those into additional attacks, and you can kind of keep those attacks going in real time. It's really fast-paced, a lot of fun.
Now, Dennis, you're talking about, you know, chaining with your partners and the player you control. Electric E1 on Twitter is curious to know, will you be able to control any character in a way similar to Tales of Symphonia?
Yes, yes. So a lot of the battle elements are back. So players can basically swap to any of the other characters at any time. So in battle, you can switch to any of the characters that are either fighting, or even the characters, if you have the full party. There's a couple characters that are in reserve. You can switch to those at any time. You can switch who you're linked to at any time. And then, of course, when you're outside of battle, you can also kind of decide who you want to go into battle as right from the start.
All right, we're seeing some love for the Tales series in the chat on twitch.tv/GameSpot. A reminder, folks, that we are taking your questions throughout the day for all our live demos. Il Duce Assassin is curious about, will there be a new game plus? Because people are already looking forward to playing the game, beating it, and then playing it some more.
So we haven't talked too much about kind of the end game, but one thing that is new for Tales of Xillia is right off the bat, you choose one of the 2 main heroes of the game to basically play the story through their eyes. So you can play either as Jude or Mila. So Jude is the character that you see on screen running right now. And then
getting jumped by a swordsman.
Getting jumped by enemies. And then, of course, Mila is the character that he's linked to right now. And so whichever character you pick, you're going to see the story through their eyes. So for a majority of the game, they'll be together, they're going on their adventure together. But there are times where, like if you go to a town, maybe Jude will be off doing one thing, Mila will be doing something else. And then so you'll see basically special cutscenes, special story points for that character. So you can actually go back and play the game again, and then you can see all the events from the other character's point of view as well.
Okay. Now, the Tales series, obviously have known for these sort of epic adventures, these involved fantasy worlds. So folks are curious to know, is starting off with Tales of Xillia, are you going to be lost from previous Tales adventures? What's the setting, and how welcoming is it to new players?
Yeah, so one of the great things with the Tales of series is that each one has its own unique world and environment. So if you haven't played any of the numerous Tales games that have come in the past, you can actually jump right into Tales of Xillia, and you won't be lost.
You're not seeing the same folks, you're not seeing the same places.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
It's a whole new story.
Yes, exactly.
And without getting too in depth with this lovely tree-lined. I love these lanterns.
Yes.
They're these sort of tree.
They're the kind of trees, but lights at the same time.
That's very cool. Without getting into too much detail about the whole world and mythology, what's the setting and the sort of setup for the story in Tales of Xillia?
How to make this short? So I guess you have your two main characters. So Jude Mathis, he's a medical student at a university. And so he's just kind of your typical student, and suddenly at the university where he is at, he comes across this character Mila, and she's kind of very mysterious, and she basically Jude and the player finds out that she is accompanied by the four great spirits, and so she is on her own quest to kind of destroy this weapon of destruction called the Spyrix weapon. And so Jude inadvertently kind of helps her do that, and then so they have to run, of course, from the authorities, and then their focus is really making sure that these weapons are destroyed and that they can't basically harm the spirits in the world and kind of ultimately destroy the world. So they go on this trip together, and then Jude's trying to find his way of really what he wants to do in life. Mila is kind of very focused on what she wants to do.
Sabotaging those destructive forces.
Yes, exactly.
And also beating up giant pitcher plant monsters.
Yes, and kind of an octopus-looking monster guy.
So this, there's a bunch of characters on screen, there's a bunch of characters in the Tales series, but this has traditionally been a single-player experience, and this, again, is a single-player RPG.
So it's not an online RPG, so it is story focused, so it is kind of a single-player game. But one of the things that players can do is if you have someone, whether it's a friend, spouse, someone else that's watching the game with you, they can actually pick up controllers, and in battle, they can actually play with you.
Oh, cool.
So in battle, it can be 4 players, but of course, when you're exploring and doing all the talking, then that, there is one person that's kind of guiding that portion.
Sure. That's neat. You can have people just hop in, pick up the controller, and you can link yourself to them through a light beam and go to town on a wide variety of fantastical monsters, and also just some regular dudes with swords. You pretty much fight anything that comes across your path.
Yes, you're fighting everything, big, small, things from nature, people. There's a lot of people who want to stop these guys from doing what they need to do.
All right, Dennis, Tales of Xillia. This game actually already has a sequel out in Japan, too, as well, Tales of Xillia 2.
Yes, it does.
Just wanted to mention that in case you wanted to mention anything.
So right now, Tales of Xillia, it's coming out in a couple of months. It's, about 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away. So it's coming out August 6th, 2013. It's exclusive on PlayStation 3. And, of course, just recently for the series, we did just announce that Tales of Symphonia Chronicles is coming out as well.
Okay.
So Tales of Symphonia, it was, one of the most successful and also the most loved Tales of game, basically out of the whole series.
Yep.
And so that's coming along with its kind of pseudo-sequel as well in one package, and that's the Tales of Symphonia, which is coming out early next year. And then, once we release those, we'll kind of see what happens.
See what happens for the Tales of series. Dennis Lee from Namco Bandai, thank you so much for coming by, showing off Tales of Xillia. out shortly for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, more live demos coming up shortly. Murdered Soul Suspect is on the way, and that one looks really cool. Stick around.